Welcome to Kolorflow Conversations. I am Uakeisha, and this is
Tikisha.
you do not.
Tikisha.
I was supposed to say you do not be singing your name again like you have done. You got to keep doing the sing song. Now you had the
And I
little
got a
dance.
little dance.
Now you got a little dance. Listen, welcome back. Last week we talked about a number of different things, but we talked about sacrifices we made as parents, and I I think I didn't hear when we played back, but I said a word and I was like, oh, I hope people don't get offended. But it's a word we use as a term of endearment towards our race. Other people, we would, if they use it, we would say it's racist. But, I hope I didn't offend anyone. What do you think?
Um, I don't think that you will offend anyone. At least, you shouldn't, because we recently had someone of another race
Say
say
it.
it
Yeah.
calmly. And that actually, did it come across your TikTok when a
It
young
did.
lady say
It did.
that?
It
I
did come
never
across.
seen it. I
Yeah.
seen people saying to quit
Stitching
stitching
it.
it.
Yeah, I saw that
So I
too.
didn't know what they were talking about, but somebody sent it to me and I was like, oh, wow. She said it as comfortably as you did.
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, it just makes me feel like it's something that she says
All
all
the
the
time.
time. And you use term of endearment, and it's something where I'm like, is that why we say it? And I'm going to say we, because I say it too. I don't say it all the time, but nevertheless I say it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because it was what, from our oppressors, did we flip it to try and
To make it sound comfortable
for us?
or out
Yeah,
of, I don't know if I would
because
say
it's
out of
like,
love.
why do we even keep it in our vocabulary at all? Because it's a negative. It's negative.
It is.
We get offended when someone else say it, but we say it.
It is. It
And
is.
I'm saying we and myself, because I remember, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I remember Jordan's senior year being at a football game, and it was a group of kids in the bleachers, and it was one Caucasian and it was the rest of the kids were Black. And she said the N-word comfortably.
Did she?
And I turned around. And then I looked at my dad, and my dad was just like, that ain't your business, focus on the game. So I just went back, but I was like, so this cool? Ain't nobody saying nothing? Like, I was confused.
It's almost though like if other races are around a lot of Black people, like they may have a lot of Black friends or something like that, that they feel maybe like they part of it too, where they can say it, and it's like an unspoken rule, like even if you a friend, you don't do that. You don't do it. But with this social media culture now, with everything that we see, it's such a different time. Even though it's always been said, now you see where it's being said like outwardly more comfortable. And I was like, I don't want to give nobody the impression that they can say that to me.
Right.
Because you can't.
Period.
You can't. You can't say it to me. You can't say it to my kids. You can't say it to nobody around me. You can't say it in the environment that I'm in. And I have, Caucasian white friends, other race friends, and no, you can. I will never be okay. But so I know that
I would never be okay with it either. I have never heard any of my associates use it that's of a different race, and I don't even use it with when I'm around them, because I don't even want you to think that it's comfortable for you to say it.
Yeah. That's the part. And I think that's why I brought it up today, because I know we reach in other people that never met us and may meet us one day and may think that it's okay. It's not okay. I literally always forget the camera on, and I just really look at it like I'm having a talk with my friend.
And that's the thing. Like, when we say that, probably on camera and off camera, that we are here, we talking.
Yeah.
And it's just what said is said. And then it's like, oh.
Because we raw and uncut. And even when we make a mistake, I've made mistakes and said things I'm sure you probably question some things you said,
all the
but
time.
because we made the commitment to have it raw and uncut, and we don't see a lot of that with podcasts, you gotta just let it go, and then you just take the heat if there's heat, or you
Mm-hmm.
explain as we're doing. Like we said something. I don't think that it's something that I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna say it again because in conversation with my friends, my family, I ain't racist because I'm like the other people. I got friends that's white.
Yeah, because I'm the token black friend.
Yeah, and we've been the token in a lot of places. I know I've been a token in the workplace. I know you have too. So the conversations that people have privately in their homes or with their friends comes out because I feel like I'm having a conversation with my friend and I forget that the camera on, even though you want to be politically correct or whatever it is for everyone, I think it's a good conversation to have that. No, you may not understand why it's okay, or even if it's not okay for me or my friend to use the word towards each other. It's almost like a term like that's my
Yes. But I also feel like, again, even with you and I in our conversations prior to doing this podcast, we've never really dropped the N
No,
word.
no, we haven't. We haven't. And I can't even remember what we were talking about when we did it. I don't know if we were talking about
I
guys or
don't
what.
need
I don't
to.
remember, but I know when we played it back, it was like,
Oh,
oh, yeah. But hopefully it's a conversation that's going to go on forever.
it is. It is.
It's a
It's a
conversation.
conversation that's going to go on as long as we're on the
This
face of
earth,
this earth.
yeah, it's going to go on forever. And it's not just with black people, it's words that are used for other Asians or whatever.
I mean, we said that weeks ago when we were talking, and remember we said Arab. And we weren't saying it talking about it, but we were talking about how we were brought up in the words that we heard. And then it was years later when it was just like, oh, that's a slur.
Yeah, it's a slur. We didn't know that.
And then I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So now you never hear me say that.
Yeah, I never say that. Ever.
Yeah, I would not. I'd be like, oh, once I learned because I literally thought that was the correct word.
I did too.
I did. I thought it was but I also feel like it was if you saw the spelling, probably our parents or whoever was around was saying it that way because of the way they didn't know.
Yeah, because our parents coming from the South, not everybody, sadly, even finished high school, can thoroughly read and write and all of that.
Yeah.
So sometimes you are literally making out words just like that.
You know what? It's so crazy because I'm affiliated with this fine dining establishment. I had a conversation with a lady. She's older than me about tipping and how it's like our culture does not tip or not good tippers. And I told her that a lot of times you raise not knowing certain things. And I said, when you see African American people, Black people come into, different establishments, a lot of times they've got the money for what they're going to eat, but they haven't been taught properly how to tip. And sometimes if they do know, if the service is bad, our attitude is, I'm not going to tip good. I don't care what, what I'm saying. So I said, it depends on what type of circles you are in growing up.
Like, yes. Okay. So my first time fine dining was going on a date when I was in my 20s.
Okay.
Because when we went out as a family, which was rare, because my mother cooked at home. So when we did go out, it would be a special occasion and it was Red Lobster. My parents weren't having a conversation on you tip this or if they good, give an extra amount. None of that. That's just stuff that I've learned and done along the way,
Social
as an adult.
Social circles.
And I've explained it to, my son, my nieces and stuff about, okay, that was good. I'm going to give you an extra tip, But we weren't taught that.
I taught my family, my mother, my father, my sister, we went somewhere and it wasn't a fine dining place. We were somewhere and I wasn't even affiliated with a place at this time, but I was like, they don't make pretty much anything hourly. What you pay them is what they're going to make for that hour that you sat there. And think about if you go somewhere and you sit for hours, because I've been involved with, large
And you
parties,
running
and
them back
you
and
run them back
forth.
and forth, and you taking up space because they could get the next table that's going to give them something too. But you want to make sure that you are generous with your giving, kind of like with your, not charity, but this is what they're doing to make money. So I also feel like that's part of it's so many different cultural differences that different people don't know about. But that's one of the other things I have a conversation about often is when we go into restaurants or establishments, how we tip, how we, treat people, how we behave.
How we behave
Is a big one. How we behave in restaurants and different things. So I teach my kids. I take them to nice places. I don't want them to grow up not knowing. My parents took us out to eat because my father was a pastor. So a lot of times on the weekends we would go to a restaurant or somewhere after church.
I can see that.
And we my sister and I, we didn't have a brother. We even at home ate at the table, and we remember we were taught we didn't have phones or anything then, so we knew to eat our food, put our plates away. When you go to a restaurant, we learn how to talk to people properly, not in a mean way, but in a respectful way when they were taking our orders and things, and we learned how to order our own food. So I do that for my children now, but I take it a step further. I take them to more finer places so they know how to order and they read and they know how they want something made. My daughter is more picky. Say it in a nice, respectful way, and don't run people crazy. Think about what you want and don't run people crazy. And I think that is what it's a social thing, because some people order their food and they eat it how it comes. We want extra this, extra that. Don't put this on there. Don't put that. So it's just, it's so many differences with our different cultures.
It is, and a lot of it has to do with maybe all of it has to do with our upbringing. I remember, I don't know if I ever told you that I used to talk to this guy, and I remember on our first date, we were at the restaurant and he got a disturbing call. And I'm pretty sure everybody in the restaurant heard that call. Because it was like, Ian, what? They raided the house. What? What happened? And I was like, oh, I'm never talking to him again. Ever.
Are you serious?
I friend zoned him just from that restaurant engagement. And he was a beautiful person. May he rest in peace. But that right there was too much for me. Yeah. Because I'm going to excuse myself quickly. Because it's just like, yeah, no, this is not how we behave.
And some people look at it and will say, oh, now you bougie. No.
I am. She might not be. I am. And I got shirts that say it. Check out the website.
Check out the website. It's real. You know what? Maybe I will say I'm bougie now. There's been levels to it.
And here's the thing with being bougie. I've been called that my whole life, and from a negative thing. And I did those shirts to turn into a positive thing, because if you think that me behaving respectfully or liking nice things or only wanting to go and do certain things is bougie.
Yeah. I agree. There's been levels to it as I've grown in my mature age and the different experiences that I've had. I definitely believe my 20s was a level, my 30s were a level, and my 40s have been the best level. But those were experiences that taught me what I don't want to be and where I want to be. Mm-hmm. So where I will go and where I won't go. Now it's not bougie. It's just I will never go there again.
Yeah, I feel like people label it bougie, but it's just that you have a particular standard.
Yeah.
Because I can still get what someone would call, she ghetto.
Yeah. I mean, I still got the ghetto
Like,
side.
okay.
I still got the ghetto side.
But and it's nothing. It ain't nothing wrong
It's nothing
with
wrong with
that.
that. It's nothing wrong with that. It's levels to it, and I think that you and I both.
I just think it's a time and a place.
It is.
That's what it boils down to. It's a time and a place.
It's a time and a place. And if I'm raising my children to be bougie, then I want them to have the best of everything. I do. I want them to have the best of everything. They deserve the best of everything because I deserve the best. God want me to have the best. I believe that. I don't believe he want me to be in poverty. I don't believe he wants me to, as long as I'm doing right by him, I believe he wants me to have the best of everything. So that's what I'm going to teach my children.
Speaking of the best, you look really nice today, and I love those shoes. I actually think I want to take them home with me because they are cute with the bow on the back. But let me tell you something. So Juneteenth is next week.
Yeah.
So when I was getting on my clothes today, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna put this shirt on, thinking about it. And the jeans that I had pulled out had the slits in the side. So when I saw your pants, I was just like, here we go with that on the same thing. The only reason why I didn't put them on is because even though it cannot be seen on camera, I just can't be out here showing how hairy I am. My legs are hairy and I hate that.
Do you wax your legs?
I don't wax them, I shave them.
Do you know that I feel like that's another thing with cultural differences growing up? I mean, I wasn't taught to shave my legs. My mother didn't have hairy legs.
My mother didn't either.
Yeah.
Ninth grade. Yeah. One of our mutual friends talked about shaving legs, and that's when I was like, oh. Yeah. And I thought about it, and I was just like, my mom never taught me that, but she wasn't doing it, so she wasn't going. Yeah. So, it probably never even crossed her mind.
Yeah. My mother wasn't hairy like that, even under her arms, and she was not hairy. So that was like something that I don't ever want my, especially my daughter, but I want my children to learn things about their bodies from somebody else. And I don't fault, because my mother came from the South. I know they wasn't thinking about that. They was picking cotton and all of that. That's what my mother and my father was. So they wasn't thinking about this stuff. So, but I think it's our responsibility once you learn not to let your child find out from friends or school or TV. And I'm like that with everything from hair on the body to sex to everything. You're going to learn it from me. You're going to learn at home. And I'm going to give you the raw and the real.
And I think that is a wonderful way to be because I learned a lot from living.
Same. I learned a lot from living or from, living.
I mean that like generically, like you said, the friends, TV, all of that. That's how I learned a lot of stuff. But I have some friends that don't like shave their legs.
Yeah, because a lot of people I know feel like, oh, I like it, and my man like it too, and I'd be like, well, whatever you like, I'm okay with whatever somebody like. I just feel more hygienic. Is that the word? When you going in pools and I like to go to pools and beaches and everything.
I'm about to start water aerobics. Speaking of,
my sister went to water aerobics recently and told me how it was.
Did she like it?
She did. Well, okay. Everything we talking about today is so funny. It's a culture difference. We were not brought up going swimming into the pools and everything. So she has a fear. Sorry, girl. But she has a fear of the water.
I have a terrifying fear of the water. Like, even as much as I talk every week about the waterfront home and love that, the most I'm doing is stepping my feet in there. Like, even going to the pool and stuff, I'm not really getting in the water. I'm just like hanging out. But I remember, though, that's the one thing that I remember as a kid, her doing that, and even older.
Water aerobics?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I used to always be like, when I grow up, I'm gonna do that. And now I guess I'm grown up.
Yeah, she has a fear of the water, but I want to do that. So we get off camera. I want to know where you're going because I may go with you there. But me and my kids, we've been in the gym this summer working out together and everything because I'm trying to break more generational curses than just relationship stuff. I don't want it to be where everybody in the family got diabetes and everybody in the family got high blood pressure and it just run in the family. So it's just like you supposed to have it. I don't want that for my
I
life.
really hate a scarcity type mindset.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean where it's just like, so you cannot, and that's impossible. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, we never, get to do that, like, just because of a race or standards or whatever, where to be like, oh, well, one day I'm gonna do this. And then, the boomer generation look and be like, that ain't never happening. Why is you even talking about that? You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, I feel like I never want to be in that mindset telling myself that something is impossible for me to have based on how it looks right now today.
That part. Anything is possible. Even if you can't see it. That's how I feel. Like, it may not be in front of you. You may not know the way or the path is going to happen, but anything is possible. And I believe that we could live a healthy life when we love food. You know what I'm saying? Like, we do. But my kids got up this morning and went to the gym without me because I was here getting things ready for us. And they get up, go spend an hour at the gym. I would never have done that as a child at their age.
Yeah.
Never.
I still ain't at my age, but yeah, girl.
I was trying to lay in the bed during the summer to 12 o'clock. I was never getting up. So I don't push it, but I do encourage it. Like, hey y'all, when I go to the grocery store, I'm gonna buy some healthy things. Send me a list because we have our little Google Notes that we share. Send me a list of what you want. And then on the weekend, let's do a little cheat thing because I want us to live. And one of my prayers to God is a long life, at least 100 years. I write it down all the time.
I say that all the time, that I'm going to live to be in my hundreds. I say that all the time.
I write it down and I say, a long life for me and my children. I want to see my children's children's children. And in order for me to do that, I have to do things to change my lifestyle. Because he ain't going to just make it happen. I mean, I know he can.
Okay, he going to just make it happen for me because I love food. I love all the snacks, all the chocolate. I had ice cream from Dunkin' Donuts, 2 scoops for breakfast yesterday. Okay?
What's crazy, though, with you, though, is you went through a healthy lifestyle period when you was it vegan?
I went vegan. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how are you eating that way? But the discipline is there. You just like, I just don't want to do it now.
Yeah, and the thing with me, though, is it's not hard for me not to eat meat because I'm not a big meat eater.
Okay.
So the hardest part of being vegan was really trying to create different meals that still fit in those guidelines, if anything. But that wasn't the hardest. The hardest was giving up dairy. Okay. Because I love dairy, but dairy is what keeps me bloated. Mm-hmm. And one of my friends told me that she started going to a nutritionist, and doing this, she found out like certain food allergies that she had, and it was like collard greens. It was
really?
Yes, it was like pineapples. It's stuff that I'm like pop into our mouths every day. Yeah, so once she like redid her diet and stuff, she lost a lot of weight just, from those little basic steps. But I don't know if I'm like, I love sugar.
I do too.
Love it.
Girl, I'll be right past Dunkin' Donuts like, I want a donut.
Love sugar. So as much as I want to be healthy, so if I had little baby Junior, I don't know. I'm rethinking that part.
You are not rethinking that.
I kind of am.
Are you?
Mm-hmm. Because, I don't know, I could barely handle helping Jordan with his homework at a young age. I don't know if I want to bring that trauma into another kid.
Tutors. Tutors. If your husband comes and wants a child, even if he has children, because at the age we are, our children are grown. Yeah. Now. But you say you don't mind going cougarish. But if your husband come and he says, I want a child with you, I want someone that we share together, I still believe that you would do it.
I'm gonna do it.
But yeah,
I'm gonna talk all
and
of
because
this.
you have discipline like I've never seen in a lot of areas. You've done discipline with food. God told you you need to cover yourself no matter what people think. And I'm sure people look like, is she Muslim? What's she? You done that with a discipline I probably wouldn't have because I still have a vain side to me that's like, you know what I'm saying? That's a discipline that is like God given. You have a discipline. So if your husband came and said, I believe that, you would be like, I'm going to do this, and you're going to discipline yourself to, do that because that's like the Holy Spirit working in you with different. You like once He tell you something, you do it.
It's funny that you say that because I don't think I ever realized that about me until you said that, and you're right. And it's when that evil spirit comes and takes over because I think about how I had, organized everybody getting together to come to the drag queen bingo event over the weekend. Mm-hmm. When my friend picked me up, my head was wrapped and everything, but I was battling that day. Nothing that I really want to go in detail, but in the midst, I ended up pulling it off, leaving it at home. And in the car, I was just like, okay, God, where you at now? Because I'm feeling this kind of way. Like, where you at now? What's wrong? Like, what do I need to do? I need to get out of this. And I think I sent you the picture because when I sat down and got that little bingo card and I saw the 7-Eleven on there, it was just like, okay, girl, I'm here right here. It's you that's acting up, not doing, because sometimes we are led to do things that are uncomfortable.
Yes.
So for the most part, even when I'm led to do those things that are uncomfortable, I still do them without a shadow of a doubt. But I get weak. I'm flesh, but it's very rare. And I guess I never really thought about like how disciplined I was because with this month, I set a new goal with, I'm getting up at 5. I'm taking my shower, I'm putting my clothes on, and I'm having my prayer time, and I'm going out and I'm feeding my little animals outside like I got this little fake farm already. So, and I've been able to do that with no problem. And it was like I told you, I didn't fall asleep. It was like 4 something. I look at the clock, but I still got right back up, got in the shower this morning because I remember even working from home for years. One of the things my supervisor had told me the first time when I started working from home, way before pandemic, we even thought about COVID. She said, get up and get dressed every day. And I said, okay, because, I didn't. I rolled out of bed, brushed my teeth, washed my face, and was at the computer in my pajamas and was sitting snacking. And I'm a snacker. I can eat a whole roll of cookies in one day. And then it was just like I go to put clothes on and I'm like, oh. Now, if I was putting clothes and getting dressed every day, you can tell when your stuff's starting not to fit. But when you're sitting in them sweats and them comfy loungy clothes, you cannot tell.
Right.
But now I'm just like, I'm leaning more back into leading a more disciplined life with that aspect because I don't want to get that because that's where I got to where I had gained all that weight and I ended up becoming vegan because it's been periods in my life where I have been well over 200 pounds and I'm only like, 5'6". So it ain't like, and I could look at the pictures. I didn't even see it on myself looking, but when I would look at myself on the pictures versus in the mirror, I would be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you could see it. Yeah, you are very disciplined in when you put your mind
when I put my mind to it, and that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm doing.
Because like when I said when you went vegan, I was like, you vegan? And you were like had lost weight.
Yes.
And you were like, I'm sticking to it. But when you change, like, okay, I'm not no more.
And I really probably still would have, I don't know, but I just stopped because I had COVID and I couldn't get up and move and prep the meals like I needed. So it was just like people were sending me food. My dad was cooking. So I was just eating whatever I got to stay alive.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to make that chicken soup or run and get some chicken and, whatever, because we love chicken.
Always. Well, I commend you for your discipline, because I'm sure that people who know you probably like, why is she covering? Why is she doing that? But that has to do with your relationship with God. So you don't care about what anyone is saying. And if God ever says, now, daughter, you can uncover because you're doing it for a reason that's between you and him, then you'll do that, and it's gonna be like you don't care then if somebody say, why are you not
doing it?
Yeah, it's just a discipline that I can commend, because I try to have discipline in certain I have to focus on certain things to have discipline at a time. I can't have, well, let me not say can't, I don't have discipline in multiple areas that I want. Like right now I'm focused on health. You know what I'm saying? But I would love to get up at 5 a.m. every morning, go and pray, but that's not what I do. I talk, like I told you, I talk to God like, and I know you do throughout the day, but I want that early morning.
Yeah, I do too, definitely throughout the day in the car. Sometimes it's just like, when I do drive. No radio days and all of that, where it's just like I'm talking all day long, most definitely. But for me, because I struggle with my mental health, so that's my commitment that I do to make sure that's how I start my day. And in prayer is how I end my day. But I started sitting at that altar, lighting that white candle and reading those Bible verses and taking moments and praying, because my mind drifts. And I'm thinking like, oh, well, I needed to do this. I forgot to do this. Did I get the towels out the dryer? So all of this is still going on. So it's just like, this is my time where I'm sitting there, and it's just like, no, reel it back in, because when I'm talking to God throughout the day, I'm talking to him, but my brain is still going, because my brain it doesn't turn off.
I think that's where this week I'm reading in Joshua now. And this week my mind has drifted every time I start reading. Every time I start reading, I get so irritated. Like, why is my like? I'll start thinking about what I got to do, and then try to go back to it, and then I just go away from it. Like, okay, maybe this ain't the time. But really, I think I need to change my routine, because I read in the bed, and I think I need to get up and maybe sit at the table and read, because I haven't struggled with it before, like since I started reading from the beginning. And now it's like, I think that, how the enemy try to come in, and when you really, getting into it, it's like, okay, let me try and distract her. I've been distracted while I've been reading in Joshua. And I'm like, what is this message about Joshua that's trying to make me be distracted? I was like, I probably need to start over and do it again. But he's like one of the best ones I've read so far about Joshua, and how he was, and that's maybe the message, is how committed he was. He never questioned God. God gave him a command, God gave him instruction, and he did it. Moses was God's like right hand. Joshua was Moses' assistant, but Moses struggled at certain times. Joshua took over Moses' duty and just doing it like, what's next? Which one we do next? And I was like, maybe now it's being revealed to me now. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That's probably why I'm getting distracted, is because he didn't question. He did it. He was just, So I think I'm gonna change my routine. I'm gonna get some discipline with that. And I think I'm gonna get up and start reading and move because I roll over and just start reading anytime. I just be like, let me read. But now I think that I'm getting to a place where it's like, okay, and me trying to come in and distract you, trying to make you think about, oh, I need to go put them clothes in the laundry. Or where I need to take my daughter now. Or I need to do this. Or I need to go to my mind wanders. So I think I'm glad we're talking about discipline, because it's just giving me revelation on what I need to do for me, because you're an example for that. You disciplined, girl.
Yeah.
You disciplined.
Thank you.
You disciplined. And a lot of people think they got discipline, but they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. We talked about a disciplined man.
Yes. Why was that in my brain when you said that? Like when you said a lot of people, and there's just the words disciplined man popped up in my head, and now you saying it out loud.
Are you serious?
Yes.
But a disciplined woman is what you are. It's what I'm learning to be. We could talk about wanting a disciplined man all day, but if you are not what you want.
And it's funny because I was struggling. So I said, I got to get back on track. And for people who don't know, the podcast is not edited, but I put a cover photo, you know, and the end, I don't know what it's called. An end photo is what I'm going to call it. So when I put that together and then me starting doing the preview. So I waited to the last minute because things in my life is shifting and changing. So I haven't had a set routine, and I didn't like that because I was like, I haven't did a short, you know, made a clip. I haven't done anything.
We both been feeling the same way because I do the social media part, and I feel like, oh, I kind of fell off from doing it consistently. So now I feel like I need a routine.
Mm-hmm. So I said, just like I have a routine for everything else in my life, this is what I'm going to have to set and do a routine. And I'm taking classes too. So I kind of like I got to be disciplined. Shoot. And discipline really is the difference between having a routine and discipline.
Yeah. Because you got to be disciplined for the routine.
Yes.
A routine is not discipline.
Mm-mm.
You have to be disciplined to carry out your routine.
Yes.
So if you have a routine, that don't mean you disciplined.
Some stuff is just you in the routine of just doing things.
Of doing that. But I desire to be disciplined in multiple areas of my life. And I am in certain areas, but now, you know, it's coming to me with us talking about like, okay, I got to get more discipline. And it can be done. It can be definitely done. It's just a matter of just making the choice to do it. Making the choice to do it. And if we want a disciplined man, then.
And quite honestly, when I tell you, it comes to me easy. So I don't even, because I was just like, oh, I'm going to be tired. But again, I constantly retrain how I talk to myself. Because if you keep telling yourself you're going to be tired,
then you're
going to be tired. So quit saying that. You get up, you do what you got to do, and however you feel is how you feel, and you move through it. And all week, here we are Thursday, and I've been doing this every day, and I didn't feel tired until yesterday, and I took a nap. And like I told you, I think I slept for 4 or 5 hours. So it was just like, that's where I got my rest. But I can't say like, oh, that's going to be too much, because we talk ourselves out of doing things.
Yeah. Like, I've talked myself out of things. Like when it comes to exercising or trying to eat better, I love me some fattening, sloppy, sugary food.
Me too.
You know, but I am believing that I could, because I watch videos, you know, TikTok University all day of people meal prepping healthy meals that look like, oh, that's very filling too.
And when I tell you, I haven't even really been on TikTok this week. So that's how I was just like, I'm missing something. But it's because I ain't been on there. I've just been trying to get in the groove of things, you know, with life.
Yeah, with life, yeah. And it's still a relaxed life. You just got to get your routine.
Yeah. It's very much so. Yeah. Nothing I'm doing is strenuous. Absolutely nothing is strenuous.
That's what I say. Like, I've been under some strenuous things but now I'm like, even with my son preparing to go to college, my daughter, and her, you know how busy her life is. Nothing be strenuous to me still. I just be like, okay, what we gotta do? Okay. Because if you talk yourself into strenuous actions, then it's gonna be strenuous.
Yep.
But when you learn to relax in God and relax in just, okay, I'm going to relax and take my time. Girl, I even started practicing walking slower. Because remember how I told you I walk fast?
Oh, I know you walk fast.
I've been consciously, intentionally walking slower because it's like, what's the rush? What am I rushing for? I have been walking
Yeah,
much
I'm like,
slower.
hey, hello,
Wait,
catch
when
up.
we was together that day, I was way up here, and I look back like, what did you do? You
Like,
was like, I'm
I'm
coming.
coming because I ain't walking fast. My strides are slow.
My strides are slowing down. My stride, because I'm like, why am I walking fast for? Like,
Like, this ain't no race. I'm gonna
child,
get there.
listen. Yeah, I'm learning the discipline. I'm learning the discipline to help out my routines
Mm-hmm.
because your routines are not disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning discipline. So that's a great message for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to be of service.
You are, because every time I see you, I'm like, man, she's so disciplined with what God tells her to do, and you do it, and you don't I'm the I don't care person. That's one thing that you are the I don't care about.
You're right. I never thought about that. You are absolutely right.
I'm the I don't care, as far as I used to be a people pleaser, and I used to do this, and I used to do that, and I used to, care about so much personally, you know, and it wasn't really about God. It was just for my own mental health and to help me. I don't care. But you are, when God tell me to do something, even if it, because your things He's telling you to do is something that's visual for people to see.
To see.
People can't look at me and just see that God done told me to change my life, or to start reading my Bible, or start over again. Yours is visual. He hasn't gotten to me. Well, yeah, because I haven't worn certain things that I used to wear, but yours is like, He said, cover my head,
I'm covered.
covered, baby, and still look cute.
Thank you.
I,
Thank
I was
you.
looking at that shirt like, I like that.
I thought I was gonna get kidnapped the other day on my little walk.
Why?
Cause this man was just staring, and he was an older man too. I was like, oh my God, the granddaddy about to try and kidnap me. And I was saying that to say, like, even with my hair wrap. So don't think that she can't pull him.
You know what I love about, because you said you have been on TikTok. My whole TikTok is Christian TikTok right now, pretty much, majority of it. And there are so many young people now that are standing for what's right with God, and they don't care what people. I see a lot of live videos where they're having Bible studies, and I'll tune into what they're saying, and I'm talking young, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad that it's changing from the Instagram girlies to the modest girls.
Yeah, I see a lot of
Modesty,
Mm-hmm.
modesty. And I love that. I was like, I welcome that. I'm so glad that it's happening. And, I'm just going to just keep tuning in to what the Spirit tell me to do.
And back to my shirt, thank you.
Go ahead, tell me.
But look at Harriet Tubman.
Oh, I didn't even realize who was on. Is that Rosa Parks too?
It is, but look at her numbers is 111.
Was that her jail number?
So I don't know, because I was just like, is this legit her number? I Googled Rosa Parks, and this was legit
her number.
Yes. So I'm like, is this legit
I'm
her
sure
number?
that was legitly her number. Why would they just put that up there?
Yes.
Somebody else, they all got numbers?
They all have numbers, but she was the only one that had those straight repeated numbers. Yes. And 111 typically stands for new beginnings.
New beginnings. And she started a new beginning.
Yes, she did. She did. So when people talk about signs and stuff, it's just like it all goes together and it makes sense. I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and she sent me this license plate. So I responded and I said, is this a problem that I'm supposed to solve? Or do I need to contact the authorities? Because I'm like, you need help? What's going on? Right. But anyway, it was the numbers and the letters meant something to her, and she had said like she was on the phone and she glanced over and seen it, and it was just a wow, like full circle moment. And then I got another friend who like, now you got me watching these birds. She said it was a cardinal that came up to my house, and she's just like, and I remember you told me that they represent lost loved ones. She said they lost power in her neighborhood last night, but because she has saw that cardinal 30 minutes before, she was like, she just thought about that, and it just brought her comfort to just be at ease in that moment. And, you know, I don't know if I said this before because people be like, everything ain't spiritual, but for me, I feel like everything is. So when you had said path earlier, I was thinking about that because I'm like, I pay attention. Sometimes I do get to where I'm overthinking it, and I may be like, okay, you taking it too far. Just because you got a pink straw, it don't mean nothing. Calm down. But certain things, I'm like, it's clear.
Yeah.
It is clear.
You got me listening to the birds in the morning. I lay in my bed, and when I hear the birds singing and chirping, I just started thinking about God. Then I'd be like, this girl got me listening to birds. But it reminds me, different things remind me of him now. When we talk about everything is spirit, it reminds me of him. So I'll be, because I don't hear him no other time of the day. It just be quiet. And it's like a sign for me. That,
because as the day goes on, trust me, those birds are still singing. It's not just in the morning, it's all day long. Because I sit in my yard and I hear them all day long. But when you're in the hustle and bustle, like we said last week, go, 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 you don't hear those what I call simple pleasures.
Yeah, that we talked about last week. Because that's a simple pleasure that I enjoy now. I lay there and I just listen to them. Girl, even when I hear dogs barking down my street one morning, it was like dogs going crazy barking. And I was like, and I have this little obsession with loving dog videos now for some reason. I don't know. Like, I love dogs and puppies. So even when I hear them barking, I'm just looking like, I feel like it's a message for me to sit there, take it in, enjoy the simple pleasures. Thank God in that moment. In that very moment, I thank him, like, thank you for waking me up and let me see another day. And it don't be like no long talk. It just be like listen and take in these simple pleasures of life that somebody ain't getting today.
Exactly.
Somebody ain't getting it. And that's one thing I'm like, I'm not gonna let this hustle and bustle get me, because I'm gonna enjoy these simple pleasures. I'm gonna enjoy when it rained this morning, I opened my windows and the rain scent was coming through my house. It's a simple pleasure to me that I'm gonna enjoy. You know, so yeah.
And just think of how many times it's just like, because I'm like, oh, it's raining, and you over here enjoying it, you know, because here I'm going, like, I'm going to drive to her and I don't want to drive in the rain. And then again, we say all these things, and I'm saying this in my head, and not that I'm getting stressed out, but it's like it's a negative thing that I'm bringing in behind the rain, which is watering my grass and my plants, because I don't water them. When I was on my walk the other day, I talked to man. He was out there watering his grass. I said, your lawn looks so nice. I said, you make me want to go home and water my grass, because I ain't watered my grass in about 15 years. He was cracking up. But it's just like, so I'm over there, you know, fussing about it, and you over here like, yes, this is just great. Girl, Lord, cleanse me with the water sent from the heavens.
That's exactly how I open. I never really opened this window. I opened that window. I opened the kitchen window. I was like, oh, it's about to. I can smell it before it happened. It was like, I think it's about to rain.
That's when you know you grown. I can smell the rain. You're grown.
I could smell it, and I just opened the windows, and I was just like, like I said, like maybe weird to somebody else, but when you get into your authentic self, which I can't remember what episode we talked about, it was probably episode 3, 4. Go back.
Authentic self.
But I say authentic self. When you get into your authentic self, where a lot of menial stuff don't matter, and you start to enjoy the simple pleasures of just being able to sit on your porch. And you see a lot of older people sit on their porch and, like, you know, enjoy. But I go and I just enjoy, like, ooh, man, it's about to rain. Let me get that. I just feel like the elements of everything that he's done is something I should be enjoying.
Yes, yes, yes.
I do. I feel like that's how I should be enjoying. So, you know, if you
Cause
ain't
like I said, like I was sitting out in my grass and I know I had my little blanket out there and I know that I have friends like, you out in the grass with the bugs? And I'm just like, girl, the one little ant came. I literally picked
it
him up and
and
put him
moved it.
back. I dropped him back in the grass.
Do you know? I'm gonna say this story because I don't know how much time we got. Where we at?
We had 50 minutes.
Well, I'm gonna say this story because when me and my sister was younger, when I think back, we were girly girls, but at one point in our life, we were digging worms and putting them in jars.
Really?
You would never believe that.
Never.
My sister, myself, and a girl across the street, we went from playing Barbie dolls on the porch to, and I don't know, I think about this now, like, what, I don't know why we were so amazed with digging, and my mother let us do it. In her backyard, we would dig for worms and put dirt in the jars and put them in the jars. And one day we were digging the worms and a big worm, it was huge, came up out the ground. I didn't know what was wrong. It was pregnant.
Oh my God.
We put it in a jar alone, and days later it was a bunch of mini worms. It was so, I was so fascinated with Earth during this time. Like, and
I'm fascinated now hearing this story because I mean, I'm like, I don't know what I thought that worms just fell out the sky. Like, I don't know what I thought. Like a pregnant worm. I didn't learned about bird mites today, and now pregnant worms.
Yeah, we. I don't know if my sister I know she remembers us digging the worms because we had jars that we left outside along the side of the house. Those mason jars. Mm-hmm. And we used to and eventually, I guess we just kind of outgrew it. I don't know how we stopped doing it. You know, you get older, you just, it was probably one summer we did it, and the next summer we didn't.
Yeah, do it. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that summer we would be outside just talking and digging and putting dirt in there and picking them up with our fingers and putting them in the jars. And yeah, the next summer we didn't do it anymore.
Are y'all just 1 year apart or two?
One 1 year apart. She was 74, I was 75. 1 year apart.
It's funny. I never played in the dirt, and I never thought that I would play in the dirt because I even remember when I bought my house, it was just like, the rocks in the front, it was no flowers or none of that. I was like, oh, this is perfect for me because and now here I am like, I want to garden and I want to do all of this. Like, I'm evolving into someone who I never thought that I would be. So when people be like, people don't change, people change.
People change.
People change.
I know people change. Yeah. People definitely change. You can't say.
And sometimes it's not, because it's just like, it's not about changing for somebody. Be like, oh, that's who they were. They ain't go. I'm evolving on myself, spirit led.
Yeah, yeah. I know everything of that's changed by me has been spirit led, God led. Just in a matter of a year, it's been. I always felt like I've been a nice person, but now it's like, oh, I am confident in who I am. Period. In God, and as a mother, as a friend, as a sister, as an aunt, I used to lack confidence in certain areas that people probably didn't know. But now it's like he's giving me a confidence. I'm like, phew.
And that's true for a lot of people, that they walk around like they're so confident in themselves, head held high, and they're very insecure on the inside. But I think we done said that like 2-3 times about not looking a certain way and looking the opposite and, whatever. And I don't know if I think I did write about that in my blog the other day, because it was just like we said, I always wear mine, and other people may not wear what they're going through, but it's just like, is there a right or wrong way to do things? Because I don't think that, is anything wrong with coming out like this, that whole, what they call the fake it till you make it. Like, I'm about to fake my way through this, pretend that I'm great, until I be great. Or, what? I ain't got it in me. It's just like,
ain't no rules to it.
Ain't no rules.
There ain't no rules to it. It's like we talk about all the time. There's different levels to everything. Me, like we talked about last week, my dark place was not like your dark place. I handle my dark place different from you how you handle yours. And that's how he made us all different. He made us all different. So I hey, I'm trying not to judge anybody from how they choose to. It's crazy because I can discern spirits even more now, but I can sit quietly and not point it out like you doing this and you like this. I can discern and know something and feel something about a person, whether good or bad. But I'm glad I'm in a place where I know that's just a gift God has given me. I ain't gotta let everything out. I don't have to let everything out because it's
Let me
different
ask you
levels to
this,
it.
and I know that we need to wrap up for sure, but when you talk about having a discerning spirit, which is something that I believe that we all have, like intuition, and I sometimes believe that we can have it and it be wrong. You know, and we be misled and find out later on, like, oh dang, that ain't who I thought that they were going to be. But the question I want to ask you really quickly is for people in your life that you know, just like you and I'm going to use us as an example because I feel like you're one of my very few people in my circle that I can say that our friendship, our love is kind of unwavering. And that's the word I was using yesterday when I was talking to my son, because I was just like, it's very important to have loyalty in your life and unwavering. I said, because sometimes so-and-so can go talk to so-and-so about you and bring it back. And then you act differently because of what people said. So if I'm hearing something about where Keisha is, it's just like, and you know this person, you know their spirit, you know how they are, you know, are you listening to what you're being told? Or do you think about your relationship with that person and how that person has just interacted with you?
I'll hear what I'm being told, but I always base on how a person interacts with me because I know how they interact with someone else may be different, but they don't have nothing to do with how they interact with me.
That made me think about T.I. because that's the one thing the last time that I was watching TikTok and he said this, he was just like, you know, they be like, what is he? Is he a family man? Is he a ladies man? Is he, I can't remember what other one he said. And he said, I'm all of
that.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt that because it's just like people think that you have to be a particular way, but there's many sides to humans. But
even the person I am, I'm the same person I am all the time. My character is the same. My friendship with you and how I interact with you is completely different from how I interact with my other friends.
Bingo.
You know what I'm saying? For example, my friend Kim, you know Kim. My interaction with you is more on we could be on a spiritual level, we could be on a mother to mother level, we could be on, whatever. My interaction with Kim is completely different from that. Now we both mothers, but it's different levels to how I interact with her and how I interact with you. Down on man, I'm being fake. It's just
you're still who you are, but the relationships are different. The conversations are different. The things that are going to be said are different. So, and this takes me back to my original thing. So you done brought Kim into it. So let me bring her into it. So like, say I'm sitting there and her and I talk because we sat and talked for, a few hours.
Yeah.
So if she brings something back to you that like Tikisha said this, how do you feed off of that? Do you bring it to Tikisha? Do you bring it to me and be like, well, Kim said you said this? Or do you just keep going like it's going. Whatever and Tikisha's character? And I'm not saying that she's saying something that is bad untrue. Yeah, but I'm just like, we know people talk about people behind their backs. So I guess that's what I'm just trying to get to. I
think I would base that off of my relationship with you. I probably wouldn't say anything. I probably, because I feel like that's a conversation of how y'all interact with each other. But if she say Tikisha said this, I probably be like, oh, okay. I because your interaction with her will be different, and your your interaction with me is different. So I don't feel like I'm going to base something different about you because
based on what someone
what
else
else someone
said.
said.
Got it.
If we have a history with each other, then I'm not going to base that. Now, if it's somebody that I don't know that well, I haven't interacted with them, I might be inclined to believe something someone said. You know, they are like this or they said this based on I don't have a strong history with them. So I'm gonna say, oh, I may think ding 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 that's part of who they are or how because it's levels to it.
Yes, it's levels to everything.
Everything.
It's levels to everything.
But I'm a loyalty like person too. Like my loyalty, man. With my friendships, I'm 10 toes down till they just be like, we ain't friends no more. and I be cool, like I'm cool with that. I'm not going to talk about, like I think, like you said, we talk about situations or whatever with friends, but I don't just go back behind and be like, girl, so well, first of all,
the starting mess type of thing.
The starting mess, yeah. I don't like talking on the phone, and then I ain't got a whole lot either. I don't have the energy for that. That's where I am now. Now, Uakeisha in her 20s probably had the energy for that, where I would be, so and so said this, so and so said, girl, what? But when you grow spiritually, authentically, and everything, you just really don't have time for that.
I agree. And I also want to say this too, and then you can wrap it up. I really do feel like we're older, so we know a lot more with life experience, and having a relationship with God, you view things differently. But I truly feel like, I say this all the time too, how important communication is. And knowing your audience is so important.
I can read my audience no matter where I am. No matter where I am, I can read my audience. I'm thankful to God for giving me the gift of reading a room, knowing what to say and what not to say in a room. And when I say in a room, not particularly in a setting.
Yeah, around people.
Yes, I can, and a lot of people don't have that gift to read a room. Like we talked about before, some people want to be the loudest in the room. They haven't become their authentic self, where you could sit back and just read a room and understand what your conversation should be in this setting and what it should not be in this setting. This gonna be to be continued conversation. Maybe we'll continue this next week, because this is, something that, like, even an example of my friendship with my son's friends' mothers that he's been friends with from pre-K. My interaction with them is completely different from you. I could read that room differently than reading the room with you. Some stuff I know you don't want to hear about no BS stuff, or you don't care about no celebrity gossip.
Yeah, certain stuff that I don't care.
But we get to talk about our children, or so we talk about anything. But I just know certain stuff you're gonna be like, girl, I don't care about that. And you will tell me, I don't care about that. I'm not gonna get mad. You read the room. So this is gonna be to be continued. We may bring it back up next week. We'll see.
Okay, bye.
Listen, we want y'all to listen, like, subscribe, share. We are grateful for the people that we're reaching in other countries. We want y'all to keep sharing and keep liking. And please let us know what you think in the comments about this conversation we had today. It started from talking about race, and it ended to talking about other things. So if there's something that you want to, make a comment about, leave it in the comments, share with a friend, subscribe, and tune in to us next week.
Bye. Until next time.